Okay. Welcome to our webinar. Our project is called a webinar series for library and information science students. And we represent IFLA, International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions. And my name is Albina Krimskaya. I'm the chair of the section on education and training in IFLA. And this project, this webinar was launched in 2021 as a joint project for the IFLA Division C that supports the library profession. And 4 years ago, we started this project, and I'm very happy that as in 2021 and also today, the first speakers were from Bulgaria. So I think this is great that today we have 2 students from Bulgaria. And also we have 2 students from the Philippines. And in the past webinars, we also had a lot of students that represented this country. And I think this is the good tradition. So our program includes 4 speakers, and I will let my colleague Marina Encheva from Bulgaria to represent the speakers and the keynote speaker. But before this, I would like to tell a few words about privacy. Marina, could you please change the slide for the?
Yes.
Yes, this event is being recorded, including the chat, and video will be posted in YouTube channel for the section on education and training. And also information about this webinar will be posted on the IFLA Division C webpage and the webpage of the section on education and training set. Also, we will provide the links to this recording through our social media. Microphone have been muted for this event, but you can put your questions or comments into to the Q&A box, and also you can choose the chat and put any comments, questions, and also we would be very happy if you put the country where you're from and the institution that you represent. So if you have any questions about privacy, you can address these questions to the IFLA. And our today's webinar is dedicated to the very popular and important topic, which is digital technologies and AI opportunities for librarians, library and information science students, and library users. So we have here today specialists, librarians, we have users in libraries, and also we have 4 students that will share their thoughts and the experience using digital technologies and artificial intelligence tools. So I'm happy to introduce my colleague from the section on education and training standing committee, Marina Encheva, who will moderate today's webinar. And Marina, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Albina. Dear colleagues, I am very glad to be among you. I am associate professor from the University of Library Studies and Information Technologies in Bulgaria. And also I am a member of the standing committee of the section on education and training in IFLA. As Albina said, we will have today 5 presentations. We will have a keynote speech by an experienced manager in the field of library and information sciences. This is our colleague from the National Library of Spain, Elena Sanchez Nogales. And also we will have 4 presentations from young library professionals. Among them, we will have 2 recently graduated bachelor students from the School of Library and Information Studies at the University of Philippines, Diliman. These are Rat Juongbayan and also Pamela May Tayaroma. The other 2 presenters are a bachelor student, Marina Ilieva, and the PhD candidate, Radoslav Hristov, who are from the University of Library Studies and Information Technologies in Bulgaria. I will briefly present the speakers in the different session. And the main focus of their presentations. And then I will give the floor to them to provide us with all the details of their practical experience and research. After each presentation, there will be a time, 5 minutes, for questions addressed by you in the chat for our speakers. And the conclusion remarks on the webinar will be made again by our chair, Professor Albina Krimskaya. So as you can see, our keynote speaker is Elena Sanchez Nogales. She is the head of digital innovation and reuse at the National Library of Spain and member of the Standing Committee of Information Technology section of IFLA. She has pioneered different initiatives aimed at the opening, reuse, and exploitation of the data generated by the National Library of Spain, or new services to fulfill the mission and the strategic lines of the National Library of Spain. Her current interests focus on AI applications to digital collections and data, as well as to library processes and management. Her keynote speech today is entitled Smart Libraries, Smarter Librarians, a Perspective on AI and LIS Professionals. The research interests of the first student speaker, the PhD candidate Radoslav Hristov, are related to the accessibility of libraries for people with disabilities, library tourism, and the history of books and libraries. The title of Radoslav's presentation is Librarians and Users with Disabilities, Challenges to ChatGPT. The second speaker, this is the recent bachelor's graduate, Rat Juongbayan, who has gained practical experience as a library intern at different libraries in the period March 2023 to April 2024, developing his skills in client relations and service management. Rat's presentations will focus on AI chatbots in academic libraries, transforming services and navigating challenges. The third presentations will be given by the recent bachelor's graduate in Library and Information Sciences, Pamela May Tayamora, and we will explore the integration of ChatGPT into virtual reference services and the perceptions of reference librarians in a Philippine academic library context. The final presentation of the webinar will be held by Marina Ilieva, who is bachelor student in Library and Information Management and a librarian at the National Library St. Cyril and Methodius in Sofia. Her presentation will reveal what are the specific skills or knowledge areas in the use of AI tools and AI ethics that are particularly important in the field of Library and Information Sciences. Before giving the floor to our keynote speaker, I am encouraging you to check out the other IFLA events at the website of the organization, and also to visit our Division C webpage and the section on education and training web page to learn more about our current and forthcoming activities. I'm also reminding you that there is option to download the presentations. They are under a resource section on the Zoom platform. Thank you very much for your attention. And now I'm giving the floor to our colleague, Elena Sanchez Nogales. Elena, please.
Thank you very much, Marina. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. And first of all, a big thank you to Marina and the team at the Education and Training section for inviting me to this webinar. It's a great and excellent opportunity to share experiences and ideas with LIS students and colleagues. As Marina mentioned, I'm a member of the Information Technology section committee. And as you know, artificial intelligence has completely taken over the conversation in recent years. In our professional and also in our personal lives as well, we all agree it brings both opportunities and challenges. And we are, for the most part, still figuring out how to navigate and integrate its impact, and now and in the future, right? So today I will be speaking from my own experience and my professional journey. I will share some slides. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I hope it's okay. So I will be speaking, as I said, from my experience, my professional journey, and that is to say that for the last 15 years, I've been working at the National Library of Spain. You know, national libraries are very specific context and ecosystem in our profession, but I've been lucky, very lucky to be involved along these many years with many communities, international groups and projects, research groups, user groups. So that's about my experience and background in general terms. Now at the National Library, as Marina mentioned, I'm responsible for the Digital Innovation and Reuse Service, and this is a unit that was created a few years ago to push forward this strategic area under the framework of our lab project. Here we explore, we promote the use and reuse of the library's digital resources and data in all possible sectors and from all possible perspectives, and how to bring in new technologies and innovative processes into different areas of our work and our organization. And some of our current and upcoming projects, of course, integrate artificial intelligence. So just to be clear, I'm not a full AI expert. I'm a librarian. We work with data. We are trying to get to know AI technologies. But I always like to start by raising a basic question that I still think is important, which is what is and what is not artificial intelligence. It might sound obvious today, but I would say it's still important to take that into account. There are hundreds of definitions of AI. This is, for example, from the European Commission's 2020 report, defining artificial intelligence. And of course, most definitions agree that AI involves computer systems, tasks that would usually require human intelligence. But AI is often and still confused with other things that are not actually artificial intelligence, mostly data processing, big data, data science. There are today powerful tools for analyzing large amounts of information, large volumes of information, but they don't necessarily use AI. And this is actually a big part of our job today here, looking at our collections as data, as a resource for knowledge and information. Our catalogs are resources for knowledge and information rather than a tool to just locate physical items in a deposit, right? I think we all agree on that. But this data-driven approach to collections, which big libraries have been working on for years now, has actually laid and is a solid foundation for AI applications today. We will be talking a bit more about that later, about our collections as data and our work on that. So another important distinction for us today is differentiates between descriptive or discriminative versus generative AI. It's particularly important for libraries and cultural heritage institutions. For us, descriptive AI brings very practical and interesting applications for libraries to extract information and new knowledge from our collections, to enhance discovery and services. While generative AI, as you all know, creates new content and there raises major questions, legal, ethical, but also creative and cultural. And they have become central in library conversations over the past couple of years. So very quickly, some of these big issues posed by generative AI in our context. I'm sure you are all familiar with these big reflections, conversations around generative AI, but for us, it's particularly important to think about AI and heritage. Because is this AI-generated content part of our cultural heritage to be preserved by our libraries? Should an AI-generated piece of content be considered a heritage object, a legal deposit object, an object to be protected by IP legislation? More big questions on AI and intellectual property, authorship, originality. Who owns an AI-generated work? Is the prompt we use a creative act in itself? And of course, AI and ethics. We are all using tools like ChatGPT these days, and we are all aware of the ethical concerns there. Of course, lack of transparency on sources, etc. But moreover, does AI help democratize access to information and empower more people to generate knowledge? Or does it just concentrate even more power in the hands of a few companies or actors? So, as professionals responsible for managing access to information, to integrate these new tools, these are the kind of questions we need to be thinking about, aside from putting them into practice, right? And in this complex ecosystem, what's our approach at the National Library of Spain and our experience here that we can share today with you? Well, as in many national libraries, especially in Europe, we think about AI strategy in two paths recently. AI in the library, how AI tools help improve services, workflows, collections, discovery, and the library in AI, meaning how our data, resources, expertise can shape and play an essential part in the broad AI landscape, public policies, and so on. So, and the strategy is different, and the issues that arise in these two areas are different, and implications are also different. But starting on the AI in the library side, the application side, here we've been exploring descriptive AI tools to extract information from our collections and make them easier, richer for discovery and use. For example, on cases of searching text corpora using natural language and semantics, identifying elements in historical images, like newspapers, and especially newspapers, extracting named entities in texts and linking them to databases. For example, also recognizing musical scores or improving OCR, transcribing handwriting texts. For these areas, AI tools give very powerful new means of exploring, improving those processes and services and the services we give to our users. So just some examples in 2023, sorry, we ran some tests using AI for facial recognition on illustrated magazines to identify early 20th century actresses. In this case, it was some test, and nowadays there are more tools, there are more open source code to work on these kind of processes, and we trust some consistent results in the near future with all the possibilities we have now. We are also more and more involved in collaborative projects with research groups, where AI is being used to deepen our understanding of heritage collections and to share them in many new ways. For example, here it's in Spanish, sorry, but this is a piece of news about one project that helped correctly identify the author of a classic Golden Age Spanish play, which had been kept as anonymous in our catalogs for centuries. And another project here is aimed to transcribe and digitally recreate old musical scores. So in these cases, our role is to support the research teams, but they offer new and exciting ways of engaging and enriching our collections. And it's new ways and exciting ways are opening up here. And another example I wanted to show briefly here is about our project Bien Escolar. It's our project aimed at increasing visibility and use of digital heritage collections at schools for primary and secondary education. We work on open teaching resources based on our digital collections. And here we frequently include now activities that use AI. This is, for example, a resource on sign language. And we suggest training a model to learn and recognize signs with AI. So the idea is to help students explore our digital collections and learn from them in new, fun and creative ways through technology, but always from a critical and conscious way. That is very important, and it's an important role for us. So this is the first area of AI application to specific ways of extracting new information, of offering our collections in a different way. And a second area would be using AI to improve internal processes and workflows here. For example, integrating chat assistants for attention to users and through web. That is now extensively used in many libraries, but especially exploring automated cataloging and subject indexing. Here, we've been experimenting, like many libraries already, with GPT and tools like Power Automate to explore automated cataloging. We have also evaluated possible workflows, and this is still at an analysis stage. But it is clear that this is a very solid way to use our knowledge, our expertise as librarians in more value-adding tasks and improving the cataloging processes. I would invite you to check a webinar on this, which very recently organized the AI Library Network group in CNL, the Conference of European National Libraries. And they, a few colleagues shared insights and use cases from their libraries, and it was very interesting. But basically, we were all in the same path, and we were having all of us the same intuition on this kind of process improvement through AI. And I would say a third area of work in our library has, of course, to do with data. As mentioned before, this is a major strategic area here, which is not always related to AI, or does not always involve AI application. And it's not a new focus in libraries, but today large metadata sets, large text corpora, linked databases, datasets create a crucial foundation for training language models and powering AI applications. So that is a crucial area of work here also. So at the library, we've been looking at, for a few years now, at our collections as data. And from that perspective, we have been creating open, reusable data sets in different open formats, from our bibliographic and authority records, from vocabularies, statistics, national bibliography, or digitized texts. So offering these resources in usable ways, answering to the new demands for large data analysis and use is, as I'm saying, a very, very big part of our job today. And apart from creating and publishing all these open sets in different formats, we've been, for example, we've built an API to help explore these data sets more deeply and more easily. And we are even testing ways to allow for natural language queries using AI to make exploration of these large data sets even easier. Very important, we are also trying to create examples of how these data sets can be used. This is, for example, a visualization we created working with the most published subjects in our 20th century. So working with our data in our catalog, we could, using free, easy to access tools, we could create some interesting visualizations and do very easy, brief but interesting analysis. So that is a very important task we are now trying to promote. And on a bigger scale, in 2021, our data helped build the largest Spanish language AI model in the world, in collaboration with the Barcelona Supercomputing Center. And it was the third largest language model globally at that time. Now, after that, everything changed very fast. And I don't know, but I'm sure now it's very little in comparing with the biggest models, but it was also a very interesting time for us, because cultural linguistic data is currently considered, after a few years of AI development, high value by the European Union. Governments and other sectors are recognizing already the strategic importance of language models and the potential of library data from very different perspectives, from many perspectives, for technology or research development, but also for public policies, promoting transparency, improving our digital ecosystems. And this is the large-scale context for us now, calling us to transform strategy into action, really. So, from all these big ideas, some key aspects, I would say, would be and I would like to share with you, but I would love to create a conversation. For me, AI, a key aspect is AI as an opportunity to show the value of libraries, of open data, open science, and how we can contribute as information professionals. There is a major opportunity there to position libraries in those big, so relevant ecosystems nowadays. Critical thinking, of course, as a key competence, as an essential skill for building ethical, democratic AI ecosystems through transparency, through bias analysis, and so on. And quality data is another major contribution from our sector, understanding how it's used, applying our knowledge and sources, checking, transparency again, information analysis, evaluation, critical thinking. That gives us a unique and essential role in the knowledge ecosystems AI is shaping. And finally, just based on our experience here, just a quick note on the professional skills we actually see as very valuable in these areas. We see that we need multidisciplinary, diverse teams with data specialists, with project managers, with creative thinkers, all working together also in flexible, in agile ways, process-oriented. That is very important for us today. It's important to be able to change, to manage change within the organization, to be always updated on training and train the colleagues in our organization on these new areas of work and tools. These teams help lead the transformation of library services in organizations. So it's very important that they have this focus constantly. And finally, and of course, collaboration with communities, both internal and external as well, is really at the heart of this work. I think we all agree here, it's crucial to stay connected with close but also wider library communities working on AI, building strategies, tools, forums, projects together. I would say there is actually no other way to safely and effectively navigate the AI wild world nowadays. And for example, in our case, some basic communities are, of course, the Artificial Intelligence Special Interest Group, sponsored by the Information Technology section in IFLA, and groups like AI for LAM or the CNL AI group that I mentioned before. I invite you all to be connected with these major professional forums where very interesting conversations and actions are being developed in terms of strategy, resources, public policies, or specific initiatives. It's really exciting to be working on these areas today. It gives a chance to think big, to think far, and to reimagine the services that we will be offering to our communities, and to position libraries and information professionals right at the center of how knowledge is created and shared in the future. So that's all from me. I hope you find it interesting. I hope you share your views on this, and we create a nice conversation today. We take the opportunity today, and thank you so much for listening. I'm not sure about the time. I honestly am not looking at the time.
Thank you very much, Elena, about this very, very interesting presentation. So you demonstrated how many applications of artificial intelligence can exist, can be applied in the different fields of services and tools developed and maintained by the libraries. Dear participants, if you have questions to Elena, please use the question send answer box for addressing this question to our wonderful keynote speaker.
Otherwise, I will be around listening to our colleagues. So if you have any other question, or you can write here or to my mail, because I put my mail there just in case.
We are.
Elena, I would like to thank you for this interesting overview of the experience of the National Library of Spain. It is always interesting to know what colleagues are doing and how you implement AI technologies, the tools. And what I liked, something like I would say the most, that you mentioned valuable skills that we need to work nowadays with these new technologies. And I think that thanks to these skills that we have as librarians, we will be always on demand on the market.
Exactly. It's all these new skills, they look new, but they are at the heart of our profession and at the heart of what being a librarian means. So
Yes.
I didn't mention that idea, but I always try to, because that's what we are. We care about information, about access to information, transparency. So we should look at this as the opportunity to advocate, to position ourselves as a very relevant sector in these new ecosystems.
Dear Elena, just to continue the thoughts of Albina about the skills we need for using properly the AI tools, I have a question. Together with these wonderful options offered by the special interest group sponsored by Information Technology section, where we can really learn on these new tools. Do you organize in Spain, in your institution, sessions for the library professionals related to the appropriate use of these tools? Also with regard to giving instructions to users about the possible applications.
Thank you, Marina. Yes, we at least once a year we organize a major conference on AI. Last year we did it in collaboration with the CNL, with the rest of European national libraries. And the title was precisely From Strategy to Action, because we are seeing that we wanted to share, okay, what are the specific applications we are already working on. But apart from that big conference that we organize once a year, we try to, a very important part of our job is to share internally. We create groups, we create conversation on all these things that we are seeing are having or might have an important impact. For example, in the area of collections as data, we had to have many. We needed to have many conversations internally just to share that new perspective on working with our catalogs, on the use of the data we put in our catalogs, and how it can be or cannot be accessed with these new types of research based exclusively on data. So it's a very intense work internally. And externally, with users, we are having more and more conversation and forums with users, data analysts that want to use our data, but are either not very familiar with catalog data. They don't exactly know how to use all our metadata, or how to decode our data. and also with other colleagues. In research groups, we try to form groups specifically dedicated to libraries. So to join the research and the library world and see the needs that we have from each other and how we can collaborate to answer those demands. But for example, at our European level, from the CNL, there are a lot of webinars every month. So I invite you to explore those, and it's a very active community.
Thank you very much, Elena. And we have two questions, and also one of the participants raising hand. I'm asking this participant, this lady, to write her question in the questions and answers box. So the first question is from Vasil Zagorov. What is the risk of dehumanization of the library profession in the long term? The risk of dehumanization of the library profession.
Yeah, I would rather say that it's the opposite. I mean, but it's a very interesting conversation. Thank you for the question. I would say that with these tools, we will be able to automate many tasks that are don't add a lot of value. For example, just transcribing text, when cataloging, we are not adding human value to that task, if you understand what I mean. So from my perspective, by automating those tasks, we can actually add more value, more human value, and in terms of analysis, in terms of enhancing or improving our services. So I would say, but I'm optimistic about AI application, basically. So, but I like to see it like that. It's quite the opposite from that perspective. But I would love to hear your opinions on this.
Thank you, Elena. And the second question is from Marianne Newman. Given my position in which I do information literacy instruction, I have a hyper focus on generative AI and how it impacts information seeking. I was really interested when you mentioned the question of whether AI generated content should be considered a cultural heritage artifact. Can you speak a little bit more about the conversation going on about this topic?
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. I always look for answers to those big questions. I go to conferences, I listen to the experts, and I leave the room with more questions. So we are still trying to figure out. But when we think about should these objects be considered heritage, I always think about when we were trying to figure out whether the web content was also heritage, was also a thing that we should preserve for the future, and we started to preserve the web content, and there was a similar conversation. But is this worthy of? Is this heritage? I mean, social media content, blogs, and so on. And now we all agree it is cultural heritage, and it's worthy that and it's a duty that we preserve that for the future. We all agree in that, and we do that. So I always remember that conversation. But I don't have the answers to these big questions. What do you think?
So the conversation remains open. I think that we all will continue thinking of this and trying really to find the good way, both for the librarians and for the users on applying the opportunities offered by these tools. In libraries, and in our everyday life. Thank you very much, Elena. If there are additional questions, they will be sent to you. If some additional questions appear to Elena, please type them and we will forward them to the keynote speaker. Thanks again. And now,
thank you.
Before giving the floor to Radosław, I would like to remind that the student speakers, they have 15 minutes in total, including the questions for their presentations. So we are very curious to hear Radosław's presentation on these very, very important topics already mentioned about the people with disabilities and challenges in the use of AI tools. So Radosław, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Let me just share my presentation. I think it's okay now. Hello, everyone. The title of my presentation is Librarians and Users with Disabilities, the Challenges to ChatGPT.
Radosław, can you please move to entire screen mode?
Yes?
Yes, it will be better.
I hope it's okay now.
Yes, wonderful.
Thank you. The studies on artificial intelligence and its implementation in various fields have also significantly impacted the information sciences and libraries. Intelligent library systems enable knowledge-based services that benefit both library staff and users. For example, this can include intelligent web search engines, personalized filters, knowledge sharing and indexing systems, content recommendation systems, natural language processing, image recognition, content summarization, digital collections and assistance, and data mining technologies. In this way, artificial intelligence and new technologies are making libraries more dynamic and accessible spaces, helping them stay relevant in the digital age. Among the variety of AI-driven library systems, chatbots are increasingly being used to provide users with instant assistance, enhancing various aspects of their experience. They efficiently answer common queries and navigate users to library resources and relevant services. This allows librarians to focus on more challenging and specialized tasks. These systems often play an essential role in analyzing user behavior and preferences, allowing librarians to provide personalized suggestions for resources such as books, articles, and more. Artificial intelligence-based platforms, such as ChatGPT, can provide users with customized resource recommendations based on their search history, borrowing patterns, and other relevant data. A few words about the methodology of our survey. It was conducted in Bulgaria between April and May 2024. As research methods, we used interview, analysis, and synthesis, and the main objective was to explore what opportunities ChatGPT can provide to library users with disabilities and librarians working with this group of people. We have examined different sources like publications that consider the impact of artificial intelligence and ChatGPT in particular on libraries and the services they offer. We asked 5 questions about this model of GPT. We used GPT 3.5, the older one, because at that time it was completely free. All the questions were asked in English, and the conclusions were about the strengths and weaknesses of ChatGPT in serving persons with disabilities in libraries, types of disabilities for which the tool may be useful, and how ChatGPT could help library professionals in their work with this user group. First of the questions was, can people with disabilities use ChatGPT opportunities to access library services? The answer of the model was absolutely. ChatGPT can be a valuable tool for people with disabilities to access library services. It gives some examples like text-based interaction, accessibility features, personalized assistance, 24/7 availability, remote access, supportive environment, etc. The second question was, for people with which types of disabilities can ChatGPT helpful in libraries? And its answer is ChatGPT can be useful for individuals with various types of disabilities in libraries, like visual impairments, hearing, motor, speech impairments, and cognitive disabilities. So for all types of disabilities. The third question is, what are the disadvantages of ChatGPT when people with disabilities use it in libraries? And the answer is, while ChatGPT can offer numerous benefits for individuals with disabilities in libraries, there are also some potential disadvantages to consider. For example, these are limitations in understanding, lack of contextual understanding, inability to provide physical assistance, of course, potential for bias or inaccuracy, dependence on technology, privacy concerns, training and familiarity requirements, and access barriers. The fourth questions, maybe for me, it's the most important one. It was, can ChatGPT replace library professionals in working with people with disabilities? The answer was very interesting. ChatGPT can complement the work of library professionals in supporting people with disabilities, but it cannot entirely replace the expertise, empathy, and personalized assistance provided by human librarians. It's because the lack of empathy and understanding, complex assistance, advocacy and support, the tailored services, and the human connection. And the last question is, how can ChatGPT benefit librarians working with people with disabilities? The answer is, ChatGPT can benefit librarians in their work with people with disabilities in several ways, like, for example, with quick access to information, 24/7 availability, assistance with reference and research, training and professional development, language translation and communication support, accessibility consultation, and community outreach and engagement. So artificial intelligence-based platforms such as ChatGPT open up various possibilities that can be useful for modern libraries. In terms of its implementation for users with disabilities, the model offers different features and benefits that can improve their interaction with the libraries. But because of the remote access and non-judgmental environment that ChatGPT provides, it can be a valuable assistant for this group of people, and its usefulness includes a wide range of persons with disabilities. Thanks to the tool, they can become active participants, taking full advantage of the services of libraries. But it should be noted that at least at this stage, the human factor remains indispensable in serving disabled users in libraries. In terms of the disadvantages of chatbots, they are mainly related to comprehension problems, inability to provide physical support, and lack of emotion and empathy. The deficiency of such opportunities, crucial in library services for people with disabilities, defines its function as complementary rather than replacement. So ChatGPT should therefore not be seen as a threat for the future of the library profession. However, there is a need to actively seek opportunities for more effective human-artificial intelligence collaboration to enhance the service quality. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Radoslav. Dear participants, if you have questions, please use questions and answers box to address Radoslav. These are really very important topics he paid attention on, and probably Elena can comment. As far as we know, in Spain, special attention is paid to people with disabilities. Probably also the libraries, and especially the National Library, is also thinking of the possible use of ChatGPT to make the service and the opportunities for these people better.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you included this topic, because we often forget. I didn't mention myself that in my presentation, and I was remembering some conversations in IFLA and with other colleagues that we have been putting the focus on people with disabilities and special needs and technology, or versus technology, right? From the perspective of them being left behind with all these complex and evolving ecosystems of access to information and so on. But last year we were talking about the idea of changing it to technology for people with disabilities. So that's a change in perspective that we have to integrate more. And yeah, right? You agree. So yeah, regretfully, we don't integrate it well enough. I mean, we think about technology and or AI, and we still don't have a focus area, specific focus area of that idea, technology for people with disabilities, users with special needs. But we will be working more on that, and we will create a specific area for that, because it's essential also. So that change in perspective of people they are being left behind, that's the risk. No, but there is also the major opportunity of using these applications for improving our service to those publics, right? Radoslav, you agree on that?
Yes,
I
yes, of
so.
course. Thank you, Professor Nogales.
I guess
yes.
so, yeah. Very
As you can see, there are many tools for using them while working with people with disabilities. So it's a great horizon in front of us.
All sound systems, text-to-speech, speech-to-text, their AI, we are working on those areas also for improving the access discovery of our collections, but they have major applications for people with special needs. So we need to improve that perspective as well.
And it's important to note that it's not dangerous for the librarians. They will not lose their work.
Exactly. You were nodding when I mentioned that before. You were nodding. You were agreeing with that comment, and you included in your presentations that I wrote it down. Allow librarians to focus on more challenging and specialized tasks. That's right. I completely agree. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Radoslav, Elena. Dear participants, if you have any additional questions, they will be forwarded to Radoslav and he will respond to them. And now I'm very glad to give the floor to Arat Juong Bayan to present to us how AI chatbots in academic libraries are transforming services and navigating challenges for both librarians and the users. Arat, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you so much, Marina, for that. Everyone, my name is Radhulong Bayan, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here today and share my research. So let me present here my screen. Wait a moment. One second here. All right. Are you able to see my screen clearly?
Yes.
It's okay.
Okay, so yeah, to start, I'm a recent graduate of the University of the Philippines, Diliman, where I completed my undergraduate thesis on the topic of AI chatbots in academic libraries, focusing on how they are reshaping library services and what that means for the future of librarianship. And in this presentation, I will walk you through my research journey, key findings, and what we as a community of LIS educators and professionals might consider as we navigate this evolving space of AI in academic libraries. And the spark for this research really came during my during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. And as we all know, the pandemic accelerated digital transformation across many sectors, and libraries were no exception. Face-to-face interactions were limited, and library services had to quickly shift online. Around the same time, AI tools, especially ChatGPT, started to gain mainstream attention. And suddenly we had this powerful conversational tool that could answer questions, help with writing, and simulate human-like interactions. And this made me wonder, what can this mean for libraries? And when I began writing my paper, ChatGPT had just started to gain traction. It was still in its early developmental stage. And even then, the excitement around its potential was already growing. But what we see now is far more advanced. ChatGPT has multiple iterations, real-time browsing, plugins, image generation, and integration with productivity tools. And the landscape of AI is evolving fast, and it continues to raise questions about how institutions, particularly libraries, can respond. And so this research began with a simple but timely curiosity. How do librarians feel about these changes, and how do they adapt to them in their daily work? And this topic matters because libraries are and have always been frontliners in providing access to information. We help students, researchers, and communities make sense of the overwhelming amount of information out there. Now, with the rise of ChatGPT and similar AI tools, we are seeing both opportunity and concern. And while there are studies abroad, I realized that there was a gap in local research, especially in the context of Philippine academic libraries. That is why I focused on my university, University of the Philippines library systems. And to guide my research, I used two widely recognized frameworks that help explain how people adopt and accept new technologies, which is the technology acceptance model, which focuses on two key factors: perceived usefulness, whether people believe the technology will actually help them, and perceived ease of use, how simple and user-friendly it is. And I also use the unified theory of acceptance and use of technology, which builds on the technology acceptance model and adds other important influences like social influence, facilitating conditions, how like resources, infrastructure, and support. And these frameworks help me understand the attitudes, concerns, and motivations of librarians when it comes to integrating AI chatbots into their work. And for this study, I used a mixed methods approach, specifically an exploratory sequential design, which means I started with qualitative data to explore ideas, then followed it up with quantitative data to test those insights more broadly. And in phase one, I interviewed librarians and staff from different UP Diliman library clusters. And then after that, I designed a follow-up survey, which gave me broader quantitative insights on the same themes. And to support the discussions during interviews and surveys, I included not just ChatGPT, but also other AI chatbots like Gemini and Microsoft Bing Copilot. These were selected because at the time of writing, they were some of the most accessible and widely used tools available to the public. And including them help participants reflect more deeply on their experiences with AI beyond a single platform. And so, one of the clearest opportunities that came out of the data was how AI chatbots can support service and efficiency. Librarians mentioned that they've started using these tools for things like drafting emails, writing social media captions, or proofreading announcements. And another common use was for reference queries. While not a replacement for the librarian's expertise, chatbots could help users with basic questions or give a starting point for research, especially outside library hours. And lastly, librarians found that these tools could streamline information retrieval, helping them find keywords, summaries, or suggested sources more quickly. And beyond efficiency, there's also one of the most exciting opportunities to improve user engagement. First, there's the use of natural language. Compared to traditional menu-based bots or static FAQs, AI chatbots like ChatGPT allow users to ask questions in a conversational way, just like they would ask a librarian. And this makes the interaction feel more intuitive, especially for users who may not be familiar with library terminologies. Second, there's the benefit of 24/7 availability. Since most libraries can operate 24/7, having a chatbot ready to assist, especially with basic queries, can support users or students who study late at night or are in different time zones. And third, librarians mentioned that chatbots could help with brainstorming, whether it's a student looking for a research topic or a librarian planning library events and promotions. And some respondents said that they've already used these tools to generate themes or ideas to create drafts for outreach activities. So, and one another key opportunity is the continuous learning aspect. Most libraries in my university already use messenger-powered chatbots, which provide quick access to services and FAQs. However, these bots rely on pre-filled static responses and cannot go beyond what they were programmed to answer. In contrast, generative AI chatbots can learn from user interactions, adapt to new types of queries, and even improve the quality of responses over time. And another strength is scalability, because these chatbots can assist multiple users at once without compromising speed or quality, And for a university with a large student body, this could significantly ease the pressure on human staff during high demand periods. And so far, we've seen that AI chatbots offer real potential, such as improving efficiency, engaging users, and learning over time. But we also have these challenges. First is one of the biggest concerns, according to the librarians, was compatibility with existing library systems. UP Diliman libraries already use a range of tools and their own subscriptions, databases, and they raised concerns about whether these chatbots could integrate smoothly with the systems or if doing so would require a complete overhaul. And another issue is cost. While these tools may appear free at first glance, full integration into library services may include subscription fees, infrastructure upgrades, or hiring technical support. And several librarians also brought up the need for staff training. And because to be used effectively, librarians themselves need time and resources to learn how to interact with them, customize them, and troubleshoot when things go wrong. So while the potential is there, many librarians feel that without proper planning and investment, AI chatbot integration could place a strain on already limited library budgets and workflows. Beyond the technical and financial challenges, librarians also raised important ethical and user experience concerns, especially as AI becomes more integrated into education and information work. First, there were concerns about accuracy because while chatbots are impressive, they don't always provide reliable or up-to-date information. And some librarians mentioned getting answers that were vague, outdated, or lacked proper sources, making them hesitant to rely on these tools for reference services. Second, there's the issue of data privacy. Since they store prompts and interactions, this raises red flags when it comes to protecting user data, especially in academic settings where confidentiality is crucial. And accessibility was another concern because not all users are comfortable typing queries in English or using text-based tools. And these students or researchers with disabilities may also struggle if these systems are not designed with inclusivity in mind. And finally, librarians highlighted plagiarism and academic integrity. With AI tools capable of generating essays or citations, some students may misuse them, which can blur the line between assistance and dishonesty. This puts added pressure on both librarians and educators to rethink how we teach research and source evaluation. So while AI can enhance services, librarians made it clear that ethical guidelines, transparency, and user education are just as important as the technology itself. So how do librarians respond? The answer here was not fear, but thoughtfulness. Many librarians expressed a strong willingness to adapt as long as the right support is in place. And first, there was a clear call for more training. Second, they emphasized the need for AI literacy for users, especially students, because librarians see their role not just as service providers, but as educators who can help guide responsible use of these technologies. And most importantly, librarians saw AI as a complementary tool, not a replacement. They acknowledged that chatbots can help with speed and scale, but they also defended the unique human skills that librarians bring to research, information ethics, and user support. And finally, many respondents said that this is the right time to reevaluate our roles as librarians and create clear policies on AI use in libraries. From data privacy to ethics, they want guidance not just for themselves, but for the entire academic community. In short, librarians are not resisting change. They are ready to lead it if we give them the tools, time, and trust to do so. And before I end, I want to acknowledge something that came up often in this research as well, and something I also personally felt. There's this question among librarians or lingering fear. What if AI replaces us? It's a real and valid concern, one that looms over many professions and something that may feel inevitable as technology continues to evolve. But what I've learned through this study is that librarians don't need to be on the defensive. Instead of asking, will AI replace librarians? We can ask something more empowering. How can librarians lead the use of AI and new technology in library services? Because librarians are not just users of technology, we are educators. We are stewards of information and advocates for ethical, inclusive access. And if we take the lead in shaping how AI is used in our institutions, then we are not being replaced. We are redefining what it means to serve in the age of intelligent systems. And that's it for my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this sparks a further conversation on how we as librarians and information professionals can shape the future of AI in our field.
Thank you very much, Rat. It was so comprehensive, and I'm very impressed. Such young professional. You have really gained practical experience, paid attention on very important topics during your work as library intern. Elena, can you comment on what was presented by Rat?
Yeah, congratulations. Thank you very much for the presentation. Here, definitely it's an area that has been, many libraries have been applying GPT for reference services. We have not yet, but here, for example, our reference service receives hundreds of questions every month, hundreds and hundreds, and some of them just as basic as opening hours. So our librarians reply the same again and again. So it's information that it's easily accessed in the web, but our users send their questions. So it's, as you said, it's not about replacing, it's about doing other more productive, interesting, challenging things with our human intelligence, right? So, and not only that, that's as we were discussing before, not only reference services, other major processes. For example, I was mentioning automated cataloging. That's a huge potential area for support to our work, or creating queries with natural language. I mean, but also here, I wanted to share that we use it in our daily work, our daily tasks, for example, for basic data refining or even programming. Maybe I cannot create a complex code from scratch, but I can understand what scripts and functions do. So it's not a replacement for a professional programmer, because I would hire if I had to make a complex code or service, but it's a wonderful help. And there are many experiences already of the use of GPT for reference services, and they are quite solid. Here that there is a big problem. I was in a conversation with European colleagues with hallucinations and consistency with GPT, because there is a study that there are studies that mention that, for example, on Fridays there are more hallucinations in GPT, or the answer, the feedback is less consistent. There is something related to productivity at the end of the week. Maybe ChatGPT also gets tired, but it's curious that we were talking about that there are many studies saying that tools also face that effect of the Friday effect. So I don't know if you have heard about that, but for us consistency in the test we have been doing with cataloging and so on, it's a bit of a problem still, because it's I mean, the fact that it doesn't give always the same answer, it's worrying for us. I don't know, Rad. I don't know, Rad, if you heard about this, but it's very interesting. Congratulations for your
Thank
presentation.
thank you very much, Elena. And yeah, I do agree with your insights. There are a lot of challenges and opportunities here with ChatGPT, especially in the context of academic libraries. So I think this raises a more important field of research for future research.
Thank you, Rat. There is a question from one of our Bulgarian colleagues. If any of the colleagues here have already implemented an AI agent as a chatbot for their library website, could you please recommend a specific tool you have used and are happy with? Also, Rat, this is, I think, addressed to you as well. Yes.
Yeah, of course. I would actually love to hear your recommendations as well, because during my research, most of the library chatbots being used in UP Diliman were still rule-based or keyword-based, such as messenger bots like Ask Sinag in our system. That's one of the reasons why I included tools like ChatGPT and Gemini and Bing Copilot, because at the time they were some of the most accessible and powerful examples of LLM based AI agents. These are external. These are not entirely implemented in our systems. So I would like to recommend this uh, for to use with your library's website if that is possible, because most libraries in my university still go with the rule-based or messenger-based chatbots.
Thank you very much, Rat. Albina, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Rad, for your presentation. And I have such a question. Do you have any special courses at your university that teach you how to use AI tools?
Yeah, actually, we do have in our program there is just recently we have a new course for AI ethics and integration. Uh, I haven't personally enrolled in that course because as of that time, I had already graduated and I was not able to enroll in that course. But yeah, there are already ongoing discussions in classes and thesis works, especially around how artificial intelligence is reshaping information access, reference services, and even ethical concerns like misinformation and authorship.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rat. May I ask you please to answer to one question to you in the questions and answers box, probably during the next presentation, because we are running out of time. So Rat, also there was additional question to Radoslav. He answered. So if this is okay for you, please answer to this question, because we need to continue with the third presentation, which will be given by Pamela Meita-Yamora, and will explore the integration of ChatGPT into virtual reference services and the perceptions of reference librarians in a Philippine academic library context. Pamela, the floor is yours.
Okay, let me just share my screen. Okay, I hope that's visible.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so good day, everyone. I'd like to first thank the IFLA Education and Training section for giving me this opportunity to share about my study. So again, I'm Pamela, and I'll be talking about my research entitled Navigating ChatGPT, Opportunities and Challenges in Virtual Reference Services. So just a quick overview of my presentation. There'll be an introduction and then the frameworks and methodology used. And then I'll be discussing the key findings and the recommendations based on them, followed by the conclusion. So with that brief outline in mind, let's start with some context. Okay, so I'd like to begin my presentation with the fifth law of library science, which is the library is a growing organism. So the logic behind this principle reminds us that libraries are dynamic institutions. They grow not only in physical collections or staffing, but also in the way that they serve users, adapting to new tools, technologies, and expectations. Okay. So for some background, reference service has long been an interest of mine, even during my undergraduate studies. I've always been curious about how librarians connect users with the right information, especially in digital spaces. So when ChatGPT started gaining widespread attention, I became interested in how it might transform the way we deliver virtual reference services. After all, this aspect of library service has always shown how our institution adapts and evolves with user needs and technologies. With VRS or with virtual reference services, libraries can now reach users beyond their physical walls and can provide support either through chat or email, even video calls or social media. Um, this shift became especially important during the pandemic when digital services became really important. And now with AI tools like ChatGPT, it seems that we've entered a new phase, one that could provide 24/7 support, automated responses, and more conversational interactions. Globally and even here in the Philippines, libraries are exploring these tools not just to be more efficient, but to stay relevant in an increasingly digital world. However, while ChatGPT showed clear potential, its adoption in Philippine academic libraries, particularly in reference services, remains limited. So my study focused on reference librarians at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, to explore their views on ChatGPT's strengths and limitations, the factors affecting its adoption, and strategies for effective and ethical integration into library workflows. Ultimately, the goal is to help shape a more thoughtful, grounded, and user-centered approach to AI use in Philippine libraries. My study, similar to Rad's, used two frameworks to understand what influences librarians' adoption of ChatGPT. So the first is the technology acceptance model developed in 1989, which looked at two key factors: perceived usefulness, for referring to whether ChatGPT could help librarians perform their tasks more effectively, and perceived ease of use, which focus on how simple and intuitive this tool is to learn and use. So if ChatGPT would be seen as both useful and easy to use, librarians would be more likely to adopt it. The second framework is the unified theory of acceptance and use of technology, which expanded on TAM's constructs. So the first two factors, performance and effort expectancy, mirrored the constructs in technology acceptance model, while the next factor, social influence, examined whether peers, supervisors, or professional communities encouraged its use, and facilitating conditions involved the availability of support, infrastructure, and training needed for successful adoption. So this is the resulting framework of my study, which adopted the constructs of both theories. For the methodology, I interviewed 5 experienced reference librarians in UP Diliman to reach the previously mentioned objectives of wanting to find out the perceived benefits, concerns, and barriers, and the practical implications of implementation of ChatGPT in VRS. So the findings provided a well-rounded view of how librarians at UP Diliman perceive ChatGPT in the context of virtual reference services. Firstly, they shared that they've used ChatGPT for a variety of personal, professional, and academic tasks. These ranged from movie recommendations, citation help, creating outlines, and even troubleshooting technical issues like WordPress using. So this showed a baseline familiarity and curiosity about what the tool can do. They also recognized several strengths. Many found ChatGPT as fast and intuitive, especially for simple writing tasks or checking grammar. It was also helpful for idea generation and language refinement, making it useful when facing writer's block. Another point that they raised was its potential for reducing workload, particularly by handling low complexity, repetitive queries, which could free up time for more complex tasks. However, they also emphasized some important limitations. ChatGPT struggles with contextual or specialized knowledge, especially when it comes to nuanced academic questions or local topics like university specific policies. Its output also isn't always consistent, sometimes requiring repeated rewording or prompting, and even then, it might not be fully accurate or relevant. And there's also the issue of reliability. Participants pointed out that ChatGPT occasionally hallucinates sources or gives incorrect citations, which makes it risky to rely on for scholarly work. Overall, librarians see it as a useful support tool, but not something that can replace human expertise. It works best when it complements professional judgment, not when it substitutes it. Beyond their perceptions of ChatGPT's capabilities, the librarians also shared what influences their decision to adopt or resist using the tool in their work. So these insights align more with the components of the UT-AUT framework. First, on performance and effort expectancy, many saw ChatGPT as a helpful assistant, especially for solo librarians or short-staffed teams, which is often the case in Philippine academic libraries. So that's a clear driver. However, they were cautious as well. They emphasized that while the tool is fast, it's not always accurate, and it can't replace trusted peer-reviewed sources. So even when it's efficient, manual verification is still necessary, making accuracy a persistent barrier. Next, for social influence, faculty support was evidence to encourage technology adoption, given how a tool like the Turnitin AI detector became widely used in the university after favorable remarks from professors wanting to utilize it in their classes. Another thing is that peer use also helps. Once people saw how accessible a technology is, they would be more likely to try it. Still, it was noted that there's a lingering stigma around AI, with some users viewing it as unreliable or quote unquote not human, which discouraged engagement. And lastly, for the facilitating conditions, several points were raised during the interviews. So firstly, financial wise, the more reliable premium versions of ChatGPT like GPT 4.0 are locked behind a paywall, making full access a challenge. Another big barrier was the lack of clear institutional guidance. Some librarians didn't even know if using AI was even allowed. And while there have been general seminars about what AI is, they express a need for more practical, hands-on training. And finally, they mentioned that if user demand grows and feedback is positive, institutions may feel more pressure to support adoption more actively. So based on the librarians' feedback and their perceptions, the study offers several recommendations if ChatGPT were to be integrated into library services. First, there needs to be a clear assignment of responsibility. Someone should be in charge of setting up and maintaining ChatGPT within the library system. It's also important to plan for long-term maintenance and troubleshooting, not just the initial setup. Second, we need to go beyond theory and offer hands-on demos or workshops to show how ChatGPT can actually be used in day-to-day library work. Students and users should also be included in these initiatives, so not just librarians. And in the long term, it may be useful to promote formal education options, such as short courses or certifications focused on AI and information services. Third, AI literacy should be embedded into information literacy programs so users understand both the potential and limitations of AI. Librarians should also be trained to critically assess AI outputs to ensure service quality isn't compromised. And there should be clear guidance on responsible use, covering issues like plagiarism, data privacy, and proper sourcing. Finally, institutions should develop comprehensive guidelines that address the ethical, legal, and practical aspects of AI use in libraries. It's also crucial to clarify boundaries, when it's appropriate to use ChatGPT and when it might not be suitable, to help avoid any risks around misinformation or professional responsibility. So to summarize the findings, ChatGPT presents both promising opportunities and important challenges for library reference services. Reference librarians at UP Diliman generally view ChatGPT as a useful support tool, particularly for generating ideas, summarizing content, and reducing repetitive workloads, which is especially valuable in understaffed environments. But alongside these benefits, there are real concerns. First, there's the issue around accuracy, including hallucinated outputs and a lack of contextual or subject-specific depth. Second, there's also integration challenges, such as unclear workflows and the absence of structured implementation plans. And lastly, ethical and institutional uncertainties currently exist, including a lack of policy guidance and questions about responsible use. So, adoption isn't just a matter of plugging in a tool. It requires training, funding, institutional support, and above all, clear boundaries. Successful integration must be intentional and values-driven, rooted in the principles of information quality, user trust, and equitable access. Ultimately, as we move forward, we need to shape policies and practices that protect professional standards while still embracing innovation where it makes sense. As a final thought, it's important to emphasize that AI tools like ChatGPT should support, not replace librarians. They can be incredibly helpful in streamlining tasks and enhancing services, but they don't replace the need for critical thinking, ethical judgment, and the human connection at the heart of library work. The core of library service is still about delivering accurate and human-centered support, and that's something AI on its own can't fully replicate. With the right balance, we can ensure AI enhances our work without compromising what makes library service truly meaningful. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Pamela. There is a question to you in the questions and answer box. Thanks for the great presentations about librarians' perceptions, adoption of AI chatbots. I'm wondering, this is a question from Mary and Newman. I'm wondering, did any of your conversations with librarians touch on how we can help users understand that AI chatbots aren't human, especially when libraries are adopting off-the-shelf systems rather than building our own? What should we be looking for in terms of design features like name, tone, or interface that might encourage anthropomorphism or lead users to overtrust the tool? And are there strategies we can use to encourage more critical thinking about the chatbot's responses? This is the first question. These are actually few questions. They are in the questions and answer box if you want, Pamela, to check.
Yeah, there are some questions. Okay, so for that first question, that specific aspect of making or helping users understand whether they're speaking to AI was lightly touched upon when I was interviewing. They actually their experiences were users had assumed when ChatGPT was like gaining traction, a lot of users were now assuming that social media the social media accounts of libraries were already fully AI. So when they would interact, they would like ask for papers on dengue stuff ganyan. So it's there's no more human kind of communication in that. So there are already assumptions. So there were frustrations about those kinds of interactions. So I think to help users understand that they're still communicating with a human behind the social media accounts is to be transparent which parts of the service is which parts of the service uses AI and which parts of the service still human operated. So I think being transparent and letting people know, letting users know how library reference services works would be a great first step to do that.
Thank you, Pamela. And another question, this is anonymous attendee. Would you think that with the updates in ChatGPT now, such as the functions of search and deep search, the concerns of librarians on the effectiveness of ChatGPT for virtual reference services and subsequently in day-to-day library work will change?
Yeah, so ChatGPT already has like very advanced features, and I think in a way it would change a bit, but I think that um at the core of it, it's still part of our practice, like verifying information, because since ChatGPT already has the search function, deep search function, it can provide sources, online sources. So in that aspect, there's still that responsibility for librarians to make sure that those um, sources that ChatGPT would provide is first, if it really exists, if it's factual, or if it's relevant. And I think that that kind of feature still has a limitation, because if a user, for example, has a very niche or very specific question or information need, ChatGPT, since it relies on information on the web, it might not be able to provide what they really need, since it's a very specific question. So yeah, I think in some respect it would change, but overall it's still the same. We would still have the same responsibilities in reference services.
Thank you very much, Pamela. Elena, quick comment before moving to the final presentation for today?
Yeah, very quick. Thank you. Congratulations, Pamela, for your presentation. Yeah, I mean, I like that you mentioned some aspects about technical and operation sustainability. And above all, policy and institutional support. That is, you mentioned specifically that adoption of this tool is not just a technical decision. I mean, and that is something that we struggle with every day. It's not, we work with innovative tools and new tools, but it's not only a technical decision. It's this kind of tools involve many implications and need institutional and institutional policy. So it's very good that you brought that. And yeah, your presentation and the previous one complement each other very well, and very interesting. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. And now I'm happy to give the floor to Marina Ilieva, who will reveal what are the specific skills or knowledge areas in the use of AI tools and AI ethics that are particularly important in the field of library and information sciences. Marina, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. First, I would like to thank for the opportunity to be here. I will keep it short. So I am Marina Ilieva. I am a second-year student in the University of Library Studies and Information Technologies in Sofia, Bulgaria. I would like to say first that my presentation is based on research and on my opinion, as it's not it's not based from other experience, because I work as a librarian. I started recently in the National Library here in Bulgaria, but I don't use AI. It's not part of my work. So this is just based on some research and my opinion. So let me share my screen. Just give me a second. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I would like to say a little bit about the skills, the specific skills or knowledge areas in the use of AI tools and the AI ethics that are particularly important in the field of library and information science. So first, let me present it. Okay, so AI is revolutionizing the way we search for, we categorize, and we recommend books, making information more accessible than ever. However, to fully benefit from these advancements, library professionals must develop the skills needed to work with AI effectively. So first here, I would like to say that it's important to understand semantic search and how AI improves catalogs. So here, knowing how AI enhances traditional search by interpreting user intent, leading to more accurate and intuitive search results, and to know how it works to retrieve more relevant results. About using machine learning for recommendations, my opinion here is that if they need to be familiar with how machine learning suggests books and articles based on the user behavior and preferences. This is something similar as the platforms like Netflix or Spotify. And also to use intelligent discovery platforms and navigating the systems to help users find academic and research materials effectively. And by integrating AI-driven search and recommendation systems, the libraries can offer a more personalized and user-friendly experience, but librarians need to just understand how it works and how it can help. Okay, let's continue with the NLP and text mining. So here, I would like to say about chatbots and virtual assistants. So,
sorry, Marina,
yeah.
there is no, you don't go further with the slides. We see only the first one. Probably you, yes, can. Yes, now it's visible. Now
I
it's
can do it.
okay. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do it like this.
Thank
Sorry.
you. No problem.
Okay. So chatbots and virtual assistants, they can answer common questions and guide users through library services. They can support the users by answering frequently asked questions and providing guidance. However, these chatbots, they will need to be monitored. Their responses need to be checked because it needs to be ensured that they remain accurate and helpful over time. And if it's needed, they will need to feed it with more like new information into the AI system. So if they cannot answer like specific questions, and this too will need to continue to learn and improve. Just a second. So about automated metadata and indexing, I would like to say that AI can categorize books and documents, but human oversight ensures quality. So reviewing and correcting automatically created descriptions and ensuring metadata is accurate and aligned with the standards, it's really important. The librarians will need to edit AI-generated descriptions when errors occur, and they will need to, again, understand the standards to make sure that they meet the library guidelines. And I think that it's really important, also the user feedback analysis, as AI can analyze user reviews to detect patterns and trends. However, using AI tools that detect emotional tone, positive, neutral, or negative, and user feedback to improve these services it's really important. So understanding how AI identifies patterns and trends and user reviews and comments, it's a must. Okay, this is the next one. Just a second. Okay, so AI can assist with inventory tracking and streamlining book checkouts and returns. It can manage, so librarians need to be managing AI systems used for inventory tracking, automatic landing, document tagging, and digital preservation. Again, just they will need to understand it, and they will need to keep a track of it and to be sure that the information is accurate, because personalized recommendations, they can make reading suggestions more relevant, and it can improve, again, the user engagement. So here, regarding the optical character recognition, I would like to say that AI can scan, process, and digitize books and historical manuscripts. I can recognize different fonts, handwriting, and alt text, but sometimes error do occur. So we cannot rely only on AI here. Again, a human will need to check on it, and they will need to verify, and they will need to correct it and ensure the accuracy is in digital archives. AI can generate topics, titles, and keywords for IHR documents, but humans again will need to oversight to review classifications and prevent some mislabeling. And again, to understand how it indexes information and helps materials be more discoverable. Regarding the ethics and responsible use in AI, they will need to understand bias in AI models. So AI can have built-in biases that affect search results and recommendations, but they will need to regularly review AI-generated suggestions and ensure diversity and inclusion in library collections. And also, AI must comply with data protection laws like GDPR to safeguard the user's information. Regarding the intellectual property, AI-generated summaries and recommendations must follow the copyright regulations to protect authors' rights. So this also needs to be checked regularly. And there needs to be a balance between AI and human expertise. So AI should enhance but not replace the human decision making. AI is just a tool in our hands, so we should not just rely on it. The human must always be like part of the work. So learning how to work alongside AI ensures technology supports rather than dominates the library services. And being aware of AI bias, promoting fairness in recommendations, protecting user privacy, respecting copyright, and maintaining a balance between AI support and human expertise. In conclusion, I would like to just say quickly, in a rapidly evolving digital environment, AI is becoming an integral part of modern library systems. So to keep pace with this transformation, library specialists must develop a diverse skill set that combines technical knowledge, data literacy, and user-centered thinking. So from managing AI-powered search tools and chatbots to working with metadata, analyzing user feedback, and ensuring ethical AI use, these skills are essential for delivering efficient, inclusive, and forward-thinking library services. And by embracing these skills, library professionals would not only adapt to technological change, but they will lead it. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Marina. You really touched all important areas of knowledge we must think about when we are using AI tools, and also mentioned the AI ethics questions, which are very important because responsible use is something we must think about as librarians, library teachers, and students. And I'm very happy that as a young professional, second-year student, and recent librarian, you have went into depth with regard to the issues of artificial intelligence. Elena, can you please comment on Marina's presentation?
Yeah, thank you. Congratulations, Marina. I think that was a wonderful closing presentation, going deeper on skills and how we are adapting as information professionals to these new environments that are evolving so crazy fast. So all these new skills training areas are challenging. There are so many, but as we discussed before, they are indeed not radically new. They are different sides, actually, about on our nature and our role as information professionals, right? And are at the same time a brilliant opportunity for us to continue growing as professionals. So it was wonderful. Thank you so much for your work and for your presentation.
Thank you, Marina and Elena. If the audience has questions, please address them in the questions and answer box in order, Marina, to respond. So there is a comment from Marianne Newman in the chat. Appreciate you all sharing your research and thoughts about these topics. I will be thinking about these points for the rest of the day. This was the purpose. So thanks again to all participants. If any additional questions appear, you can address us and we will forward them to our wonderful speakers. As Albina, our chair of the standing committee, had to leave, it's my turn now to go into conclusion of today's webinar. I'm very glad that again we have this project. After 2 years, there was a period without such webinars, but this is the first from forthcoming webinars. So today we really managed to cover different options, starting from such complex system as it is the National Library of Spain, where really the application of AI tools can be seen in different services, also with regard to the application of the policies which are important of a national library as also a keeper of the heritage. So it was really interesting to start from this broader perspective. Then we continued with this focus on improving the opportunities for library users, librarians with disability, with the help of chatbots, very important topic. Move to the opportunities to reference librarians on the application of AI tools, and finished with a very good summary. A very good summary on the different areas of application, the important skills we must develop in order to be responsible librarians and to navigate our users. So thanks again to all presenters. Please follow the web page of our section for the April and the May webinars. We will be really glad to meet you again. Special thanks to Elena, who, due to her very, very busy program, accepted to be with us and to share her valuable experience. I'm so happy, Elena, that we managed to do it in practice.
It was great. Thank you so much.
Yes, we discussed this, if you remember, in Madrid, that
Yes.
we must do something together. So it was really nice session.
Wonderful.
There are many comments in the chat from people who are saying thank you to all participants, and also there is a comment for young colleague who is coming from China, working at the library of one Chinese university, currently involved in teaching AI literacy courses, which is great. And he's continuing participating in promotion of artificial intelligence associations in my province. Really hope to have the opportunity to work and communicate with everyone. And here is, there is, I think this is email for further comment. So we are glad that the audience was happy about today's webinar. So wish again to all of you a very nice evening and a good continuation of your work this week, and till new great events in the framework of webinars of our sections. And also I hope, Elena, to share further some of the opportunities to follow the activities, the events of the section on information technologies. So see you soon. It was really pleasure for me to moderate today's webinar. Thank you and bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
You.